Having everyone trickle in. So in the meantime, post in the chat where you're tuning in from. We've already seen we got people from Philippines, South Africa, Buenos Aires. It's great. Love to see it. NYC. I'm coming from Chicago. Wow, we really do have a worldwide crew right now. Okay, you guys, let's jump into it, at least with introductions. My name is Francesca. I am from ShipBob. I'm a partner manager managing logistics, supply chain, just a bunch of different partners that you guys could use with your e-commerce business. I'm here for the Lifetime Value Roundtable, and we have partners TalentPop, Okendo, Ordergroove, AfterShip, and eHouse to talk about actionable tips to make your customers happy and loyal long-term customers. Especially prepping for Q4 and peak that is coming really fast, just thinking of different ways that, okay, once you've got this customer to your website or they are a customer, like how can you convert them and make their customer experience even better? And we actually do have a report from McKinsey that I'm going to post in the chat that you guys can view at a later date. But it talks about that. Sorry, you guys, I'm already jumping into the questions over here. Let's do introductions. I'll let everyone introduce themselves.
Awesome. Cool. I'll just jump in for starters. And my name is Ashkin. I am one of the founders here at TalentPop. TalentPop is a customer service management agency specifically for e-commerce brand. We work with a little bit over 600 of the fastest growing e-commerce brands like, True Classic Teas, Ancient Nutrition, Kettle Fire, to just, manage the customer experience and make sure that we're able to increase LTV with everything we have going on.
Cool. I'll hop out next. I'm Gab. I am from Okendo. For those of you who aren't familiar, Okendo is a customer marketing tool that enables their brands to collect more information about their customers in order to provide a better customer experiences.
Hey everyone, Andrew Magny, Group Product Manager here at Ordergroove. Ordergroove is first and foremost a subscription platform. So some of you may have seen us out there in the space powering subscriptions. I would say more generally, we go to market under the umbrella of relationship commerce. So how do we get somebody to order again after they've checked out on the site? That could be subscription or more broadly, any sort of reordering or membership experience. So really excited to be on.
Hey everyone, it's great to be with you. I'm Sarah. I'm the Strategic Partnership Manager here at AfterShip. AfterShip is a post-purchase platform, and our goal is really to support and enhance the entire post-purchase experience for customers. That journey can fall into a couple of different categories, such as shipping to shorten fulfillment times, branded tracking to drive loyalty and sales, and returns to provide a seamless process and lower costs. I'm looking forward to chatting more about customer lifetime value with everyone here.
Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Quinn. I'm the CEO at eHouse Studio. We are a design and development e-commerce agency for brands that are leveraging Shopify Plus, and we also build retention strategies and tactics for those brands as well.
Thanks everyone. And just in case you didn't know what ShipBob does, we are a tech-enabled global logistics partner. We have a WMS solution as well as outsourced fulfillment, and we have partnerships, integrations with the partners here. If you ever have questions during our time on here, just post them in the chat. Even if they're specific to the brand, we have people answering questions, or they'll get back to you at a later date if you have specific questions about what their companies do and their services. So feel free to post anytime in the chat, but we do have some questions about lifetime value that we're going to go through. If you have any additional questions, maybe we'll be able to get to them at the end, or someone will respond to you in the chat. So finally, going back to the link that I was super excited about, the question is, what is the biggest mistake you see brands make when it comes to LTV? So this McKinsey report found that over 75% of consumers have tried new brands since the start of pandemic. So where are these brands falling short that drive consumers to the competitor? So I linked that link in there if you want to take a peek, but opening up the floor to the panel of the idea and the thought question of where are brands falling short that drives consumers to competition?
Yeah, I think there's a massive opportunity for brands to create as much loyalty around as humanly possible to increase the LTV, increase your reorder rate. And, some of the partners here, especially on like the subscription side of things, really make it extremely easy to increase the lifetime value. And I think that brands need to be striving for putting together these personalized, high touch, concierge-like experiences to really grow the LTV of a brand. So what can that look like? For a subscription brand that's utilizing one of the various tools that are out there, it could be just going a step above and beyond and doing two things. One is, what is the opportunity to convert some of your non-subscribers into actual subscribers? So you can pull potentially like a cohort from Klaviyo of people that have purchased twice in the last 90 days that are not opted into your subscription program, push that into your ticketing system and have your customer experience team take a concierge approach and say, hey, have you ever thought about joining our subscription program and taking advantage of these X amount of savings? At the same time, on the subscription side is, how can you go and, reduce the amount of churn that's happening over there to really increase the LTV? Churn is the death of a subscription program. So little things like asking why you're looking to churn on a CX level, understanding if there's an opportunity for a skip, understanding the opportunity to decrease order frequency are all things that are going to increase LTV as much as possible. And then for the non-subscription or consumable product brands, again, just taking that concierge approach. How can you create community in a group? How can you launch new products to them first and have them hear about it first and make them feel like they're really a part of something and have them become more and more loyal with the brand to just increase that LTV and have more of their mind share and technically like wallet share spent on your brand rather than, the full ecosystem.
I think all of those points are very interesting and valid. And I think, understanding what your customers wants comes from being able to take advantage and asking these people, surveying your brands or collecting reviews and information about experiences, is very, very helpful. I mean, your customers are hopefully loyal fans of the brand, so they're likely to answer a quick question or to provide some additional information. You want to be able to incentivize your customers to create social proof for you, right? Like create some user-generated content, leave a review that then you can repurpose across your website or across your paid advertising. But also like ask your customers to refer a friend. That multiple on like a quick affiliate refer a friend will really go to almost be like a great acquisition channel for some of these brands. So I think one of the major mistakes is just not asking these questions and not being able to, kind of connect those dots. So I think having the ability to do that will definitely improve lifetime value and a variety of other metrics just based on the work that you're doing.
Are you saying to actually send a survey out to customers?
Yeah, send a survey out to customers, have a pop-up on your website, meet your customers where they are and ask questions like, how would you prefer to hear about us? Would you like email? Would you like text message? You could run an abandoned cart exit intent survey, right? Why are you leaving? Why did you leave this in your cart? All of these pieces of information can then go and affect your overall strategy, maybe your product development line or your retail expansion.
Yeah, I think those do a great job of covering a wide range of tactics and strategies. So maybe I'll take it a bit more on the measurement or impact side of how do I know that these things are doing are actually impacting lifetime value? And I would say the first mistake I see is just being scared of diving into the weeds or letting perfect be the enemy of pretty good in terms of calculating and understanding the impact on lifetime value, because conceptually it's quite an easy thing to wrap your head around. How much is this customer going to spend on me over their lifetime? But in practice, it's actually hard to define and measure, in particular with a younger cohort, right? Where it's I've only had this customer on my site for 3 months. How can I accurately project out their lifetime value over the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is? So the first thing I would say is just like, get in there, get comfortable with how you're going to define the metric, and then measure and optimize from there. And then the second I would say is like, there's really two key levers for lifetime value. Either you can get somebody to order more times, or you can get more items and more revenue per order. And so I would really encourage folks to think about it holistically. For subscription, a lot of people naturally think of, well, that means they're going to get more orders, but we also encourage folks to focus on like average order value as well, right? Because both of those things can be used. So I think from an impact perspective, that's usually the guidance we're offering from the Ordergroove side.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what our partners have already shared. Although I believe brands have improved mistakes made when it comes to LTV over the last few years, there's definitely still a lot of room for improvement, especially when it comes to post-purchase. Brands are still really forgetting to engage customers after they hit that buy now button. In order to really have loyal customers, brands need to start to think about the entire buying journey. They need to understand what really drives loyalty and retention for their customers and what it really means to them. They really need to ensure that they're engaging customers and not forgetting them after they make a purchase if they want them to come back again. While new customer acquisition is, of course, very important, customer lifetime value can prove to be more beneficial when it comes to long-term revenue goals. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that we see brands make when it comes to LTV. And that's why really creating that seamless and thoughtful post-purchase experience is so, so important.
Well, it's easy to go last after everybody's had such great insights. But I think to add on to everybody else, I think, the biggest mistake is I think not having the right data, having it, just be this overall number like LTV. That's the number that the whole product line and all the customers have. And I think it's really about having actionable data broken down, whether it be by product LTV, what's the purchase type, what are they purchasing on their second or third purchase, and what are they, likely to purchase next. I think it's so beneficial to really understand how those products and those customers differentiate from each other so that you can really kind of analyze that data and then really determine how do we generate an engagement and kind of a process for them that's going to create the most, highly engaged customers. How can we create and think about LTV, pre-purchase, absolutely, post-purchase, but how does those all tie together? I think, again, that overall simplification of just LTV, it doesn't see the nuance of the channels and all the different things that really factor into that. And I think absolutely the post-purchase experience really honestly shouldn't be the same for every product purchase or customer. It really needs to differentiate for that stage and where the customer is at.
Great conversation, everyone. And don't worry if you are scribbling down notes. There was so much jam-packed into there. We will be sending out the recording, but really good insights of different parts of the sales cycle and different ways you can leverage data and your customers' insights. And so I'm wondering from you guys, what brands have you either worked with professionally or you're a customer of that nails LTV that you've seen out there? Any ideas that come to your head?
On my end, one that I can think of off the top of my head that really, really crushes it, and I am the client of ours, but also a customer of theirs, because I never thought that bones would taste good, but like Kettle Fire bone broth, like it's fire for anyone that hasn't actually tried it over there. But like their way of increasing lifetime value is absolutely insane. So for those that are, listening in over here, if you go to kettleandfire.com and you just go and add any item into cart, they do an excellent job of many, many different things when it comes to an LTV level. But one thing is just like the, post add to cart upsell they have sitting right then and there. I think it's a third-party app called Grow LTV that they utilize, and they do an excellent job of a couple different things. One is how do you increase the cart value? So they gamify it a lot. So they gamify it with the opportunity of, after spending X amount, free shipping, after X amount more, a 3% discount, 6% discount, and then a mystery gift. So as you add more items to the cart, increase that cart value, it continues and you unlock those in real time. On top of that, on the right-hand side, you see little upsells throughout the entire process. So I added chicken in my cart. It's suggesting me to add the 100% grass-fed beef and the chicken bone broth and the mushroom, just increasing that cart value size. As I think it was Andrew mentioned earlier, it's like there's really two primary ways to grow your business. So three: one, the one everyone thinks about, which is like acquiring new customers, but the other two being increasing cart value, and three being increased reorder rate. This is how you really nail bringing up that cart value. And then the third thing they do to increase the order rate is like throughout the entire process, I'm seeing an upgrade to subscribe and save for 20% off as well. So like these four little, pieces of nuance, they made it really, really simple for me to go from a, $5 box of bone broth to my cart says $306. And I don't know what happened, but I think they do a really, really great slick job of being able to increase that cart value, fall in love with the brand, and, just really grow that LTV to a place that's becomes profitable in the world that we're living in right now, with rising ad costs, with lowering conversion rates on site.
I'm a big fan of bone broth. So I understand the hype. But on a different note, we work with a pet care brand called WAG. They send out boxes similar to BarkBox of treats and toys and things for pets. So WAG did a really interesting thing, and in their review request forms, they were asking for information about the dogs themselves, right? Their age, their breed, and their activity level. So with those pieces of information, WAG was able to create like very personalized segments in Klaviyo, tailored based on the age, the breed, and the activity level of the dog. They did see pretty incredible results in terms of increases in lifetime value, revenue per recipient, and I think at this point, personalization is the name of the game. So even if you're a food and beverage brand, if you're able to ask information such as like, where do you enjoy this product? Then you can create these hyper personalized experiences for each person who comes to your site. And in terms of that messaging, like I think it's a very crucial thing to be able to do.
Yeah, Gab, I was also going to go the personalization route. I think pet and food, especially food with like a nutritional slant, like a bone broth, are like really solid candidates for subscription. The one that I chose here is a brand called Shinesty, which is actually like an apparel brand, which maybe is not as obvious as a consumable product in terms of being able to run a subscription model. And they just absolutely nail it in terms of the entire experience and lifetime value. And it's also really heavily based on personalization. And so they are able to, of course, personalize your on-site experience and your initial order as you're signing up for one of their clubs. I definitely encourage everybody to check it out. If you're not familiar, it's a super fun website and fun brand. But I think the challenge of personalization becomes even greater after that first purchase, because you need to keep things fresh, you need to keep things unique. You need to be able to, in the case of an underwear club, for example, actually rotate prints over time, which is like one of the value props. So that's a more complicated problem than just personalizing the on-site experience. How do I personalize an ongoing lifetime relationship with this customer via the underwear club? And what they've done is they actually built an algorithm that personalizes your prints based on size, what type, men's or women's, whether you want like bold prints or standard prints. But then also the algorithm guarantees that you never receive the same print twice, which is like a benefit that customers often mention of being in this program, is they know every time a box shows up, it's going to be something new, not what they received before. And then they also allow a lot of flexible purchasing options. And one of those that I wanted to call out that we've seen drive a dramatic impact on lifetime value is being able to prepay for a number of orders up front. Every customer of ours that's rolled out a prepaid subscription is seeing incremental ordering compared to a standard pay-as-you-go subscription model. So Shinesty being able to lean in and offer the ability to prepay for a number of your club shipments up front definitely has helped with their lifetime value as well.
Gab, I have a wag box coming in for my dog at some point today, but those are all some really, really great brands that are putting customer lifetime value at the forefront of everything that they do. And AfterShip has another one to add to that list, which is Gymshark, a wonderful customer of ours. They do such an amazing job of engaging their customers after they've made a purchase. They use their branded tracking page to not only promote other products, but also their own workout app and marketing promotions to ensure that they're constantly keeping their customers engaged. Once their customer has made that purchase, they continue to keep them updated while they're waiting for their order. This is especially important because they're actively listening at this time. I mean, I know I've definitely spent more than my original purchase because of the added visibility of additional products, and Gymshark just really does such a great job of this.
So we have a lot of great clients that are doing LTV really, really well. I thought I'd select a brand that I shop with. So I've been using Athletic Greens for quite some time. I think they do a really great job of really treating me as if I'm a new customer, even though that subscription order is going to be coming. They treat me as if I'm a new customer, continuing to kind of deliver good content, collaborative programs where maybe I get exclusive content or products or things like that. They're really always kind of in the podcast that I'm listening to and things like that, reinforcing why I should be taking the product, how I should be taking the product. They're not taking me for granted, especially when you go back to that first question that we talked about how many brands or people are starting, to try new brands. They're treating me as if they need to earn that purchase at any given point. So I think they do a great job of keeping me engaged and also reminding me why I need to continue to purchase from them, even when they're probably one of the highest price points in kind of their space. So.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I'm a fan of a couple of these different brands that you guys talked about. It is the continuation of staying in touch with me, sending me an email, sending me a coupon code. Maybe there's like some story about being eco-friendly that like they know I'd like to see. So I'm definitely somebody who has grown with a lot of these brands, especially Aaron Athletic Greens, because they've kept up with me and kept me, like you said, a first-time customer. Even when they ship stuff, you have the option of either you can get the whole kit again, or you can be more eco-conscious and just get the refills versus getting like all the containers. So really good expertise there at Athletic Greens. The next question I have for you guys. So we talked about a lot of things today, and brands, there isn't one right way to keep customers engaged. And I think to take action, brands have to think about maybe like one or two things that they can actually do from now until peak season starts. So what is the number one tip to increase customer lifetime value? And where should brands be starting and spending their time when it comes to creating an experience customers want to return to?
I can jump in and go first here just to switch up the order so we don't we don't have to follow around the horn again. I guess for me, I would say lifetime value is a marathon and not a sprint. I think a lot of tools out there are built to like make that first order on the website as big as possible, which is important. And if you can do that, you should do that. But sometimes that can actually lead to somebody getting immediately overstocked and then churning from your brand or subscription program and never coming back again. And so that's the advice that we try to share on the Ordergroove side with our customers. Is it's really important to get somebody off on the right program and right plan and right purchasing behavior from the beginning versus trying to sell them as much as possible and risking kind of losing them from there. And then to get more tactical about it, I think once you have that customer reordering from you through whatever mechanism, there's a few things that I've seen from our customers that are really good tips I would share. One is making it easy as possible. So we have customers like Bonafide where they have a magic link that allows you to manage your subscription without logging in. Like, nobody wants to remember a username and password to get back in and manage their subscription. And a small thing like that will definitely increase your lifetime value. We have a customer, Good Ranchers, that actually calls every customer after their order. Maybe not everyone, but every third order or something like that, just to check in with them and see how things are going. Obviously, that's expensive, but they see the value of it paid off in the lifetime value of those customers. Can be more automated, like sending customers a gift at the right point in their subscription cycle. Hey, you've received three orders of razors in a row. Let's gift you a new handle to go with those razors that you're getting, or whatever it may be. One other cool one, just going back to Shinesty from a minute ago, they actually offer a direct support line for subscribers compared to just one-time shoppers. So it's a little bit like the airline status or something. You can jump the queue if you're a subscriber with Shinesty. So those are some more like tactical examples. I would say the broader theme or advice I would give is like, don't over index on just the first order, but rather set that customer up for success, the way that like Athletic Greens does, as Aaron was talking about.
Yeah, those are some really great tips, Andrew. I think from our perspective, the best tip that we really have is to engage customers when they're actually listening. There really isn't ever a better time to get the attention of a customer when they're waiting for their package to arrive. Not only are you providing them with status updates from the courier in a completely branded experience, but you're also providing the opportunity for information share and also upsells. This is all a part of really creating that seamless post-purchase experience and not forgetting about your customers. You want to engage your customers at a critical time after they've made that purchase, making your customers feel like they have all the latest information, their package is in good hands. It builds trust and loyalty and ultimately customer lifetime value.
Yeah, I would add to that. I think that post purchase experience, especially the branded order tracking pages, the shipping flows, that's where a lot of brands that we've been working with have been seeing a lot of success. I think the tendency is to always focus on like, well, they might need to reorder. It's been X amount of days or this or that. And so everybody's been really apprehensive to engage really early in that purchase process. Having just made that purchase. But the reality is it's typically when we know the most about that purchaser. It's when we know, what information might they need, what maybe didn't they purchase that they should have purchased that's going to make the experience better, or, hey, you're not a loyalty member, like you're missing out. You really need to get involved here. I think it's really about that, or maybe the post-purchase data that they've given us that we need to be actionable on because they gave us the information. We should, be actioning on that information. That's what we really want to do, is ask them what value they're ultimately wanting and then delivering on that. And I think another tactical thing that we've seen is obviously subscribe and save. It's great, but I think customers are looking for, especially all that's going on in kind of the world, ways to save and things like that. And so maybe people prefer to buy more upfront and pick and choose when they want to purchase. So maybe a membership where they can get the kind of same savings that they would get through a subscribe and save program, but instead by being a member, they're willing to pay that, get those same kind of discounts and benefits that a subscribe and save customer would get, but be able to purchase at a time and a kind of a schedule that's most relevant to them. So that's another thing that we've seen some success with as well.
Yeah, and I'll jump into it too. It sounds like the ethos of this conversation is really all about just like, how can we be as thoughtful as humanly possible with the experience that a customer is going through? And I think it's like the idea of, you go to a local bar and, you go there every single week and they know your order, they know what seat you sit at, and like you have that great experience. Well, we are now in this digital world. It's like, how do we replicate that experience across the board, especially with the customer of yours that are giving you all of these intent signals, all of the data that you have to be able to customize the experience. And it comes down to like, how do you treat your VIPs like the VIP customers that they actually are? And some of the people already spoke about some of the opportunities. It's like, there's so many opportunities to just, customize that cohort. If it's, whether it's based off an AOV that they have or the amount of reorders that they have, you can easily tag that audience into a specific cohort in your help desk. And as Andrew mentioned earlier, like, hey, there's a VIP customer service line for these people. It goes and skips the line. I know ShipBob has the functionality of like, hey, this is a VIP, you can tag it, and like same day order processing. It's like those are the little things where you can really give that person, that brand, that person the experience that they deserve for being so loyal to you. So just figuring out those little nuances to make a ordinary experience exceptional is a big thing that brands should really be looking to continue to figure out.
Yeah, I completely agree. And to take this all into some nation, I think the core thing that we're really getting at is collect this data and information and then like quickly action on it. At this point, I would say like 3 out of 4 customers are expecting personalization to be that default standard of engagement. Right. So make sure you're soliciting for feedback at every point in the customer journey, and you're customizing your messaging. You're looking at your attribution surveys and you're saying, all right, traffic is coming from this source. Let's look to add additional resources there. Right. So if you have the ability to collect this data and then personalize, then you can make your efforts so much more impactful.
Thanks, everyone. I'm thinking you brought up ways that brands should engage their customers. These are things that they should do. Aaron, specifically as our UX design expert, have you seen anything that brands are doing that you actually advise against? We were talking a lot about what should brands do. I think a lot of them are thinking, okay, either some of them have a plan for LTV or maybe they're already doing something. What do you advise against that you've seen people do in the past?
I think the biggest thing I think we talk about is it's really easy as a brand to, and honestly, as an agency or a business owner or a human being, to look at others and assume what they're doing. Hey, they're successful. They're a fast growing brand. Whatever they're doing has got to be right. We should just kind of emulate that. And that's the keys to success. And I think, although, yes, like competitor analysis is super important and we need to know what others are doing, and learning from others is really important. The reality is just because somebody big is doing it doesn't mean it's actually working or it's moving the needle in the right way. So I think it's really, how do you take that is not the sole source of information of what you run and chase down, but kind of a factor in that. It's essential to think about, what are your customers telling you that you want? So many times we see people have the answer, like it's in a survey, it's in data, it's right there, but we haven't really kind of taken the time to go like, oh, well, it's as easy as like, let's just do that. And maybe focus too big. Don't hesitate to focus on like the small content changes, the placement, the color, before really kind of investing in like that big shiny thing that we really just don't have any context as to what it's going to do from an impact standpoint. Is going to take a long time to do. And then we might be overly maybe disappointed in what those results are. So.
Anyone else have anything that they've seen brands do that they would advise against?
One that comes up in the subscription world is it can be tempting to make it hard to cancel as a way to hack into lifetime value, and that will never work in the long run. It may save you like a few orders up front, but it doesn't take long for either customers to share with each other, hey, this brand makes it really hard to cancel, or even that particular customer, it seems counterintuitive, but getting them to say skip an order when they're overstocked instead of canceling, it seems counterintuitive to like really beg somebody to skip their order. But if you know and can predict either like via machine learning or just even a data analysis that somebody looks like they're about to churn, it's way better to get them skip than have them cancel. So that's definitely, and there's always going to be a temptation to like make it hard to cancel, or maybe even like don't send somebody an order reminder because we think then they're going to skip the order, but making it easy will win in the end. So I would definitely emphasize that for our customers or anybody in the audience.
Okay. I see some questions in the chat. I have one more I want to add before we jump into the chat questions. We haven't talked about returns yet. Sarah, I know AfterShip specializes in automating returns. How do you turn a return into an opportunity for a customer to purchase again? Because I think this is an issue that a lot of brands have. A first part is automating returns, which you guys do so beautifully, but like, how can they take that return and turn it into something else? Because I think returns have been bogging down a lot of brands, especially in the digital era where everyone's doing bracket sizing and no one's going in the store to try stuff on. Like, I have to order 3 sizes of shoes because I don't know what's going to fit me. So they're just inevitable.
Agreed, Fran. Returns really are inevitable. And because of that, brands need to really ensure that they are creating a seamless returns experience. I don't know about you guys or the rest of the people on the call, but before I buy something, especially from a brand that is new to me, the first thing I do is take a look at the returns policy. I want to know if I can return it, if I can exchange it, what the process looks like, how easy is it. And an automated system really can provide that user-friendly interface for customers to initiate returns, generate returns labels, track the process of their returns, knowing exactly when they're going to get that refund back or exchange, and just improving the overall customer experience. And a solution like AfterShip Returns is really invaluable at recovering revenue when it comes to delivering quality exchanges, store credit, enforcing returns policies. Merchants can retain the revenue in their store and create future sales by promoting new products and leaving the customer with a really good experience, which is the most important thing. That ease of use in the entire process is what is going to keep your customers coming back and ordering again from you.
I can attest to this because I just had a brand that maybe go to the post office and purchase a label versus it being, and it's like a whole thing, yes. Versus it going through like an automation or you just put everything in. And I think the upsell opportunity is super awesome too, because there's been sometimes too, it's like, I just don't like the item, but I do like the brand. So I will purchase more. Some people had questions in the chat. This might be specific to some of the partners, but I think this comes up a lot actually. What if your brand isn't right for a subscription model? I think that's automatically a subscription model, LTV, those two go hand in hand. Any idea, maybe is the brand thinking about subscription should they think about subscription differently, model it differently? But I want to hear your guys' thoughts because I think subscriptions are a really easy way for brands just to turn that on. But I think there's a lot of products I do agree that's like I probably wouldn't sign up for a subscription for this.
Yeah, I don't think you can fit a square peg in a round hole necessarily. And I think it's based off your business model's needs and the constraints that they have. And I think just kind of realizing what that comes down to and realizing that you might not be as consumable product. It's like, all right, cool. What are the other avenues we can look at? And that's when we can take a look at, all right, how do we increase, maybe they're not going to come in as frequently because they're buying a sink or something like that, but how do we go and really increase the AOV as much as humanly possible? What are we doing with the cart? What are we doing to be able to increase that basket size? And then number 2 is, though they aren't, you might not be a subscription product. Like I'm thinking of like Hex Class, one of our clients as well at the same time. It's like they have a deep product selection that they provide amazing experiences in the post-purchase when it comes to just being able to, they know, and leveraging a lot of data to understand you bought this pot and pan set, you were going to need this next. And, you know, just running your SMS, running your email, going in with a concierge approach and contacting those people, asking about their experience with their existing product and their existing, array of products and seeing if there is an opportunity to buy the knife set or whatever it happens to be there. Like, though it's not consumable on every 30-day repeat, there is a massive opportunity to still increase that LTV through multiple orders by just increasing that cadence of customized communication and just going back to that concierge element of customer experience.
I think memberships is another interesting thing for brands that aren't necessarily right for kind of an auto ship model. You look at brands like, Restoration Hardware. I think I can't remember the exact number, but I think they were like over 90% of their revenue comes from memberships and members that are purchasing. So how can you drive value through that? And sometimes it's a free membership, right? With Lululemon, offering, sign up for a membership. They're getting what they want, really more data on you and that zero-party data. And they're able to offer things like free tailoring or things like that are going to really kind of drive a relationship with you. I think that's another opportunity to maybe explore.
For sure, I would say the same thing. I think not every brand's going to be a perfect fit for a standard subscription model, but probably every brand has a need for a recurring ordering model of some kind, which could be membership. It could be more of like an ad hoc reorder. Hey, we thought you might be running low, or we wanted to show you something that was similar to what you liked before. Or we also see a lot of like more rotating models where like you probably wouldn't subscribe to the same bottle of wine necessarily over and over, but a wine club allows you to like try something new. So not every brand is even going to be a fit for those, but I think every brand should be thinking about the recurring model overall and building a relationship with that customer.
Thanks, you guys. Oh, Gabby got something too?
Great. Yeah, just real quick. One additional thing that I think is a really interesting channel to be able to take part of is referrals, right? If you have loyal customers, you should be able to incentivize them to reach out to their friends, their families, their coworkers to also enjoy that brand, right? Like social proof and that word of mouth referral is really powerful. So giving your customers the ability to kind of market for you is a really powerful way to drive brand recognition and reward your loyal subscribers or customers rather with benefits. Maybe it's a discount, maybe it's $5 per referral or what have you. But that kind of incentivization to reach out to your customers, I think, is another really powerful avenue.
It does work. I feel like if you throw a dollar amount at me and I really do like your brand, like, yes, I will promote it.
Sometimes I do it for free.
And
right?
another question we got. Sorry, I think my computer was slow and then you responded, but I hadn't heard you yet. Gab, what were you saying?
I was just saying that, when you're kind of shooting out that quick referral, at least you get a value of it. I'll support my brands for free, right? I really love this shirt. I got it from here. I love this light. Let me send you the Amazon link. But I could get some kind of a kickback for doing something that I already would have done. It's a nice little reward.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I've seen this in like the medical scrub, which is like a very interesting niche in like the doctor medical world where, it's a very interesting world where nurses are surrounded by more nurses who are surrounded by more nurses. And if there is this hero brand that everyone loves, not only is it on all of their branding, but I've seen some brands that are trying to fight with the figs of the world and take over some of that like tough market share. And they're going in and every order that someone purchases, they're opting them into their like affiliate referral plan that they have there, and including like a handful of cards where you can include and write down your promo code that you generated through these various apps. And, you have that in this space around nurses. Nurses are surrounded by more nurses, and they like your apparel, and it looks different than everyone else's scrubs. Like, it's an easy opportunity to kind of hand out these products, and you're increasing, not only your LTV by being an evangelist, but now you're potentially bringing on and acquiring a new customer, and hopefully they fall in love through that, hand-to-hand combat of like a referral coming in.
Okay, I waited extra long so I wouldn't talk over anyone because I think my computer is struggling. Digital world again. Thanks everyone for your patience. The last question I think we'll probably have, because then we're going to go over time for a little bit, unless anyone else in the crowd has any questions, put those in the chat now. But the last question was, what strategies can you use to win back customers that either haven't purchased from you in a while, or maybe haven't engaged with like your content, your email, or even been to your website in a while?
Yeah, I think win back campaigns of any kind are definitely a crucial tactic, and again speaks a bit to the marathon of lifetime value. I probably should have said it's not even one where you're going to have even pacing across it, right? Like, there's going to be times where a customer may disappear for a while, and then times where they spend a lot, especially if your product is like more seasonal or something that doesn't lend itself to equal purchasing all the time. I would say win back can be super targeted in the subscription world because you have a lot of data on what they had previously. I think it's maybe a bit tougher if you're trying to win somebody back that's only ever made one purchase. You don't know so much about them. But what we see in subscription is usually reaching back out with a discount, either to reactivate the same subscription they had before, maybe they just needed a break, or offering them something similar or relevant based on what they had previously. I would say, generally speaking, the discount that you have to offer to win somebody back is like going to pay for itself in the long term. I would also say like you need to be careful about gaming with these types of campaigns. Definitely, there can be times where people will share, hey, if you just go pretend to cancel your subscription, they'll offer you 10% to stay. So you have to be a little bit careful. But again, generally on a net basis, you're going to make money by going in and fighting the battle to get these customers back. So that's kind of what we see on the subscription side.
I think on that note as well, like adding social proof into like abandoned cart emails, right? Like remind me what I had in my cart and show me the star ratings or other people wearing the product or drinking the product or what have you. That's a pretty easy way to be able to leverage your current positive feedback in order to kind of gain another sale.
Yeah, some of the brands that we're working with do a ton to really just try to cultivate that concierge-like experience again. And there's a lot of that first-party data or zero-party data that we have access to now of not only when someone makes a purchase, but also what did they previously browse? What did they previously add to cart? And now some of this data is flowing into the various help desks like the Gorgeouses of the world. And now I can take a look at my customer cohort that has not purchased back in 90 days and generate a ticket, and also be able to just populate what products they browsed and did not purchase. And that could be an easy opportunity to spike that conversation back up, whether, again, if it is someone with a high AOV, a high present LTV that doesn't purchase again, is at churn risk. How do we go ahead and give them a call with your customer experience team during the downtime and win back those opportunities? And then two is, how do you go and take, on a more recent level, how do you take those abandoned carts that didn't actually go ahead and purchase, trigger a ticket into your ticketing system for 5 minutes for your CX team to be able to make that outbound call, come in as a concierge for the brand and ask if they had any questions about why their size 9 Nikes, they didn't end up purchasing the red option over here, and seeing if there's anything we can do, whether it's a discount or just additional information about sizing that'll be able to get them to overall convert and, bring that, abandoned cart rate down, bring up that conversion rate on site, and really make monumental difference to the overall business.
Yeah, I think it's, I think when you look at kind of the win back, you have to look at it as like not over assuming, why they didn't purchase and just kind of treating them like a blanket statement. I think there's the tendency to assume, we see it a lot in subscription flows. It's kind of like, the exit, survey has got, I had too much product, I had this, I had that. And then there's always the other, and I always kind of challenge brands, like, you never ask, like, did they not like the product? Because the more information that you have, the more relevant you can be in that win back. Or maybe if it's a one-time purchase, if we know that, their last purchase was this, being able to dive in and say, what other information do we have? Are you servicing or surveying customers that are no longer shopping with you? Is that an opportunity to find out what do we need to do to critically change our behavior or our product to make sure that this isn't happening again? And not over assuming they also follow along with everything that you're doing. Maybe they've decided that they don't want whey anymore and they want plant-based. And yet we assume, oh, well, they're obviously getting all the information we're sending about plant-based through social and this and that. Don't treat them like they're dead to you, like they're dead to the brand because they stopped purchasing. Maybe they've just changed something in their kind of lifestyle that they're looking for something new. And so treat them as a new customer that you're ultimately having to inform as to what exciting new things that you're doing, so that they might find another solution in a new product or a new offering that you have.
Great insight, everybody. I want to thank everyone for their time. If you have any additional questions, post them in the chat. We can reply to you later. We will be sending out a recording. And I know some of the service providers here have put their links in the chat. If you're not able to get in touch with one of them, we're going to send the recording. Just reply to that email and we can connect you with one of their experts. But yeah, thank you guys, everybody. Hope that this was really impactful for your guys' plans as we go into peak. And we'll see you guys on the next session. Bye, everyone.
Put this together.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Fran. Bye.